All right, we ready to dive straight goddamn into it?
I'm so ready.
What's our topic today? Do we have one?
We've got, I think we should just do basic updates.
Sounds good.
Right?
Parker's fucking pissed.
We can do episode 8A and B. We can do like because last one was the Deathly Hallows, so we were due for a split.
Oh, it's true.
Fuck.
When are we doing the holiday special? Now that it's almost February.
When Easter
We might as
comes.
well record it now based on
Yeah.
How long it takes Dan to get things out.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Ronks! Ronks!
I literally turned the last episode around in like 2 days. You
Stonks!
fucker.
Yeah, I know. It is.
Honks.
I feel so
Wrong.
bad. You are the most diligent, hardworking human being in show business, and you're dealing with us fucking monkeys over here.
No.
Wow!
To be clear,
Too far.
There's a continuum of Ian says, "I'm ready anytime," and then everyone's like, "Yeah." And then Parker, you're pretty good about hitting your times. And then Brennan,
Oh god!
when
It's
I know you're not
coming.
going to hit it, instead of responding, you just start liking texts. And then the day of, you're like, "Oh shit, guys! Oh fuck! Oh sorry." And I'm like, I feel so bad about trying to get us to a time. Like, I don't want to push this podcast. If it's meant to die, it's meant to die. I don't want to overdo it. And then
No
I
way,
say
Jose.
things like, "Hey,
Don't bring
maybe
Jose
we
into
could
this.
find a standard time that maybe we wouldn't have to go through this, and then we could just call it the time generally." And Brendan's like, "No!"
Listen, I understand. Can I defend myself?
No.
Am I
No.
allowed
You're
to
guilty.
defend
Time
myself?
budget here.
No
No,
defense.
You're fucked.
Yeah.
Brendan.
Who
the
I've
fuck?
done this to you?
Going to jail. You're going to
three.
potty jail.
Potty
Straight to
jail.
jail. All right, well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Tuning into another episode of Steve and Lynda Make a Podcast. You got to keep all that intro, Dan.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe.
Except you want to splice in my actual defense, which I'll record later. I'm going to use certain words that have multiple syllables.
Oh, big man. Fucking big
Those are
man.
both just one-syllable words, Parker. I'm going to use multiple syllables.
Biggie Manny. Got him.
There we go. Oh, man. So we're on a time crunch because little baby Ian has to go sleep, right?
2:35 p.m. First of all, what's your name?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We're going to do the intro again. Everyone shut up. Ian, shut up. Welcome back, Slindians, to another banger episode of our Steve and Lynda Make a Podcast. Steve and Lynda couldn't make it today, but I'm Brendan.
Oh, Dan.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Parker.
Today we're going to update things. I think it's just ripe for us to talk about progress, failures, and mostly failures.
How did you know?
Speak for yourself.
Oh, that's true. How about this? Maybe what we could do is we'll go around the horn as per usual, and then maybe I'm going to stop and think for a second about who's doing well and who's doing really not well. And maybe what we'll do is organize it so that it's just like a slow decline into just absolute sadness.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good trajectory.
Okay.
It's like an inverse
And
cliffhanger.
listeners, reach out. See if this is the type of organizational structure you're looking for. Smash that like button.
Steve and Lynda have depression.
So I think probably if that's the structure, Dan, why don't you tell us, how are you doing this week?
How dare you assume that I was doing the worst? Reverse it. Strike
Dan.
that. Strike that. I don't
How
know.
dare I assume you've succeeded at anything?
We're cooking. We're making some progress. every day this week, I've texted you guys in the format of, hold on, let me pull it up. It's pretty precise. And I've made sure every day this week to copy the same exact format. And it goes, gosh, there's so many messages. There's so many.
It goes, happy fucking blank day.
Yeah. It says, guys, happy fucking Thursday. That's today. That's a pretty good day today. I'm pretty happy.
I gotta say, Dan,
and it's
starts
fucking
my
Thursday.
day off right. I appreciate you sending those.
Yeah, but I've been sending them late because I've been sleeping in.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Getting some shut-eye. So yeah, it's been a hype week. Very excited about some of the stuff that I've got cooking. I'm working on a few good YouTube videos. I rented a lens for the last 10 days. Very tiny, very sharp, new released 50mm lens for the Canon RP. Yeah, I don't have it. I sent it back today. I literally just dropped it off about 2 hours ago.
You don't remember what it's called, though?
Oh, no, it's the 50mm.
That's very specific.
The Nikon?
Let me try again. The RF 50mm f1.8 made by Canon.
Quality plug.
Yeah. I don't have a link handy for you,
How beautiful.
but I will.
Check us out at, what's our website? Steve and Lynda makeapodcast.com. That's Lynda spelled with a Y. Why? Because that is the way that's on her birth certificate. She spells it that way. That's what we write on our holiday cards back and forth. So quit fucking asking. That's how she fucking spells her name. Jesus.
All right. So yeah, that was cool. That makes for a cool couple of days there in my world because I obviously take a whole bunch of photos with the rented lens. You're kind of in a scramble, right? You got it for 10 days. Comes in a nice box. You get really excited. You rip it open. It's Christmas morning. Pop it on there. You start taking a whole bunch of pictures. That has since inspired me to post once a day on Instagram every day for the rest of 2021. We'll see how long that lasts. And then also got a lot of video with it. So that was very fun. A lot of cool things happening there on my own personal projects.
So is that something you're using both as... So it sounds like you're using it just like to use it and up the quality, or at least change the quality of the products visuals that you're sending out there. But did you also do some sort of a product review?
Oh yeah. So I've made a couple lens reviews on my main YouTube channel.
Oh, you may have already said that.
Yeah, and they're doing pretty well organically, and they're getting people to stick around. And because I have a couple on that same topic, I think YouTube likes that because it keeps the viewers in the seats, you know. So, you know, when you see that, when you go into the analytics, you just got to keep giving the people what they want. And so I'll continue to do so. Also,
sling them video drugs.
Sling them video drugs. And then also, you know, when you rent from somewhere, they have a referral code. So like it would be ideal if I could kind of push that rental service referral code. One, like legitimately it's helpful for other people to get $25 off. This is only the second time I rented something. The first time was that big old 800mm. Ian and Brendan, you might have been familiar.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And I don't know, renting was just a much more fun experience than I had expected. So, you know, hopefully it encourages other people to try it out and on a discount. And then I get, you know, that little credit kickback, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to rent more.
How much is renting an aspect of that whole deal? Because I would imagine so much of the equipment that you use is so precise that it becomes really expensive. So is renting a fairly common, like, indie photog method?
The indie photogs. Us indie photogs. I don't know. So it really depends on how expensive and available the equipment is. I think those are the two factors that drive the price. So like the higher end stuff can be fairly expensive. But I think the idea is that a lot of people rent gear that they don't have in order to shoot a paid gig, specifically with weddings. Wedding gear is like the higher end, more expensive stuff. If you don't have it, you could easily rent it for 7 days. That covers you for your shoot. It's a wedding, so that shoot time is not going to move. It's one of those things that you can very much count on being the day that you the day that you've booked for it to happen. And, that rental fee can just be wrapped up into what you're charging. So that happens all the time, and for other productions as well, specifically video ones. In this case, this is a brand new lens coming out for Canon's newer mount, but a fairly common lens, and it will end up being the lens that basically everybody has. So they have 50 millimeters is a very common focal length for a lens. And their older mount version, it's one of those things that costs like $125 now, and everybody has one. So this will be very popular, very cheap, and thus was cheap to rent. It's just a little bit hard to get availability-wise right now, given that all that type of equipment has been rolled out slowly. Everything new in 2020 and 2021 has been affected by coronavirus. So this was cheap. I don't plan on doing it a ton. That's why I'm trying to get the credits.
Gangster.
Indeed.
What else is popping? Is there so obviously we've got the YouTube content. Obviously we've got you've got your sort of business to business clients that you're working with. What else is going on? Are there other things?
Yes. Business to business is going well. Doing a shoot tomorrow, so that'll be nice to get an in-person shoot done again. That'll give me some good editing work this weekend as well. And then I'm working with my dear middle brother, Rye, on a small little Instagram utility that I've been using to help with hashtagging and creating posts. So it would be probably considered in beta version, with a sole beta user being myself. But I think at this point, he has stood up enough on the development side that it is good and usable for me over like kind of the services that I had been using before. So I've actually used this pretty extensively for scheduling my own Instagram posts. So all those pictures that I took with the rented lens, I have a whole backlog. I've scheduled them using, a social scheduler. They go out every day automatically at 8 a.m. And, kind of given the backlog of pictures, I use that little Instagram hashtagging tool to create all of the posts for those upcoming images. So that's been cool to test. I think our goal is to hopefully talk to a small group of people that I'm closer to online and get a few other people testing that and giving us some feedback in the next couple of weeks here. So that's kind of that's an example of like one of those side projects that I was hoping to get to in this whole period of freelancing. And thankfully he was itching to work on something from a development standpoint because he's the engineer on that one.
Boom.
Joshua Tree 2. Joshua.
So what is it? Wait, what did you call it? An Instagram attachment? What did you say?
A little utility.
Utility. What is so? What is that exactly?
So
it's just like a set of code that. Yeah, go ahead.
It's just like a little tool when you create a post and you're trying to get it found organically by using hashtags. It's kind of like general rules that you want to follow for the hashtags that you use. And I end up using groups of hashtags. So like to get into the nitty gritty, I guess, one example would be if I post a picture with that new lens, I might say hashtag Canon 50mm, hashtag Canon RF mount, like all those associated things. And so this utility is basically a way to organize those tags into a group and then call on that group quickly. So like the main purpose is so that it's easier and faster to type out descriptions and type out groups of hashtags without manually doing all of that every single post.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, what are your thoughts on, how in hospitals you got all these beeping machines?
Mm-hmm.
and that effectively at a certain point it's just white noise, and like the beeping where it was intended to alert your attention to something, now it just like, because everything beeps all the goddamn time, nurses just like fall asleep dreaming of beeps, and then in their waking hours like have just like the bandwidth cannot apply to all the different beeps. You see where I'm getting at?
I'm not a nurse, but I can imagine.
Is there some aspect of like overwhelming? Because I see Instagram posts at this stage, and I fully understand that it's, if you're searching a hashtag, that you're gonna the more hashtags you can squeeze into a comment or into a post description or caption, I guess, the better. But is there some degree of diminishing returns? Is that stuff like overwhelming at a certain point?
First of all, limit's 30. So
That is an insane number.
30 beeps.
Do you max it out?
I rarely do.
Okay.
But you should. Ideally.
Why? Okay, so yeah, why?
Because it gives you a better chance of getting that post seen.
Yeah.
It's like, you said it. Some people follow hashtags. So it's not necessarily about like, ooh, this looks disgusting. Let me only put 2 because 30 looks gross. It's literally like every hashtag you add, you're getting potential additional reach on that post. Now, like, you don't want to just be really superfluous. They're supposed to match. Like, 10 really fitting hashtags is much, much better than 30 that don't fit at all with the post, right? So if people click on a hashtag and expect some type of content, and you're just pinning hashtags to it that have no real connection,
bait and switch.
Instagram will be like, ooh, I don't like that.
Oh, Instagram will step in.
No, I mean, they're not going to say actively.
Just
they just
the
won't show it. They'll
Instagram
kill it
hive
for
mind.
that hashtag,
Yeah.
or like they'll kill that post, right?
Well, Dan, pretty soon we got. I wrote up for Parker and me a little preliminary Instagram post, because we got Forest Floor Mushrooms, Forest Floor Mushroom Co.
Yes.
On the old Instagram. We gotta post some schniz.
Did you just plug your account during my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Because we're clearly because of all the failures this week, Dan. I need a little booster Rooney.
Well, we'll get you guys in that utility. You're gonna be hashtagging all over the place. Don't you worry
Nice.
about that.
Beta testers. You and me, Parks.
Yeah, I love that.
Convincing.
Who's up?
Who feels like they've failed the second least this week?
Ian, I'm going to let you go, bud.
Yes. We're all battling for that bottom spot.
Oh man, I definitely belong there, but I'll go. Let's see what happened. I did make a little bit of progress on the old legitimization front. I did some research into the different kinds of like.
Now I'm getting a little jarble from Ian.
I
Does
might
anybody
be
else
getting
get
a little
jarble?
breakup, Ian.
Ian, check your old
Ian, we're breaking up.
Internet.
All right, how about now?
No, you're perfect.
Oh, that's
You're
good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
You probably
Oh, okay.
recorded it just fine.
Cool. Let's hope. It'll be. I'll just emphasize it. I'll re-emphasize it right now.
Now you sound perfect. Were you just like acting like a robot just then? Is you? Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I.
That's very good.
It's pretty impressive, right?
So what did you? Yeah. How was the week?
Yeah, it's it was what it was. No, I did some research into like different kinds of businesses and how I want to go about that whole thing. And I landed on just the bare bones sole proprietorship for now. But I'm thinking at some point I might try and offer some of the stuff I'm building as like a sassy type thing. Yeah.
You're gonna have to. Sassy to me is purely an adjective. You're gonna have to clarify what that is.
It's an acronym, software as a service. So just like yeah, that. But
You've written up this code, people and you can sort of license it, basically.
Yeah. Like other people can pay me to use it. or more likely, I'll just put it out there and nothing will happen. But
Cool.
Yes.
I'm trying to write it in a way where I give myself that option at least. And then at that point, I would want to, I think, form an LLC, just to give myself a liability shield in case, I mess up real bad. I don't want to be personally liable for some other business's lost revenue, or whatever. It's a dog eat dog world out there. I don't want to get eaten. So that was productive, but the net outcome is that I don't really do anything different until I file taxes this year. So
Yeah.
kind of a no op there. I have been making some progress on like the software, but it's not really like it's probably just going to sound like gobbledygook if I try and describe
Lay
it.
it all out. If it's 20 minutes and it makes no sense to any of us, we'll take a vote at the end, and then
Slice it.
Dan will just or he'll just like speed through it. We'll time lapse.
Just throw in some goat and see if anyone notices.
Yeah, just cover it all with 3.5 minutes of goat.
Let's see. I guess okay. So at a high level, I'm trying to like build out kind of the like stream processing layer. So like taking the different data feeds and then applying the different like transformations and pattern recognition steps in kind of like a more generic way. Before I had been just doing everything kind of all in the same application. But that's not going to scale really well when I start looking at, kind of a broader and broader range of financial instruments. So I'm doing some work to try and make that a bit more scalable. So it's been going well, but slowly. I feel like I'm kind of spinning my wheels a little bit, but I don't know, making some slow progress.
Is it an unexpected snag, or does it feel like, oh yeah, you knew there would be days like this?
Like rationally, like in my developed adult brain, I knew there were going to be like times like this, but in my like primitive, insecure, kind of like ego-driven brain, I'm like, oh, why isn't everything easy? Why am I not a millionaire by now? I'm exaggerating. Yeah.
Brain.
Like why no worky? I mean, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Was
that was the whole explanation? Because that was pretty clear.
Oh, cool.
We don't need to go over anything.
Oh, that's perfect then. Yeah, I don't know. I always like I'm always worried that I'm like not communicating what I'm doing, but it sounds like maybe you guys understood me perfectly, so that's a pleasant surprise.
Calling us dumb?
No. I'm calling myself inarticulate.
Dan, yes.
Good save.
No, dude. No. That's the last thing I would say about you to your face.
we have obviously the luxury of distance. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, right.
I'm just looking at a computer screen right now. Go ahead.
Virtual face, not
you have nothing physically to be afraid
to
of.
your ear
We'll
face.
just bully you.
Oh yeah. Emotional bullying. I'm more scared of that. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's real.
Popcorn. I don't know who feels like they had a moderately productive week. Who feels like an abysmal failure?
Parker and I have a certain degree of failure that
Shared.
That certainly I'm overplaying, first of all, but also I don't know in our separate endeavors who fails worse. So let's do rock paper scissors real quick from
Is it the honor system?
You ready? Yes.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, on you.
Rock, paper,
I
scissors,
did
shoot.
scissors.
Yeah, so did
Okay,
I.
go again.
Rock, paper, scissors,
I did
shoot.
paper.
I did scissors. Yes! I wish we had gone. I should have just lied and said, "Oh, I did paper too."
I
And
was
then-
ready to cut
and we
you
would have
guys
gone
off.
on for like.
That would have been the rest
I
of the
had
episode.
expected that was going to happen, so I was ready to step in if needed.
Dan,
Oh,
you can't
man.
interfere
I
with the
had it in my
sacred pact
head.
of rock paper scissors. You got to let them
Yeah, it was.
go to the
Don't
end.
trust us.
Look, when those two say the honor system and they start doing rock paper scissors on a podcast, I know something's up.
He doesn't know that we're in the same room. Well, Brendan,
Your butt looks really good today, Parker.
thank you. What? Wait. Wait.
So I'll
Yeah, I
go
was gonna
first.
say. What does that mean? Do you go? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go first. I won, so that means you failed the most.
That was a
I think.
really bad week for me. Can't even get the podcast right.
So let's see. So as far as successes, we'll start there and then pivot. The old word of mouth tutoring stuff is going well. So right now we're hitting a good sort of stride after the holidays, which is good. So which is allowing some space and continued sort of comfort in financing the old mushroom business. So, which is always good. And I think we've talked a little bit about, what is it? What are all the metaphors we've used? Eggs in a basket, boiling pots.
Tentacles in the cookie jar.
Stonks.
Yeah. Stonks, ronks, honks. And then also just how much you want to like completely dive in and put all things at risk to increase the likelihood that you're going to like work real hard to make something succeed, which I'm personally just a little doubtful of that whole mindset. And so it's nice for me to have essentially not even a backup, but a fairly consistent, very flexible sort of project that allows for this other project, which is riskier, which is more uncertain, which requires more kind of energy to at least be more likely to succeed. And I don't need the like pressures of, well, if these mushrooms don't grow, then we will have to move back in with my parents. That pressure is not a fun pressure for me.
Right.
I love you, Mom, and I love you, Dad, but I don't want to live with you
Do I
anymore.
have to move in there too?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. So, but the mushrooms this week, we we're in the third load week. So we've like loaded twice, and this week was the third time we loaded some. So snags that we're hitting though, first of all, USPS. I hate to call you out by name, but Mr. and Mrs. USPS, you have got to figure it out. What is going on?
It's fucked.
Are you guys experiencing still really bad delays there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My stuff has gotten pretty normal again.
I don't want to hear that right now.
But for the first 10 days of this year, yeah, no, we can call them out. They were fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough. I mean, we're waiting on some things. What we've done is decided that so one of the structures, like one of the ways that you could design the business to grow mushrooms is to fairly consistently order spawn, which is grains that are sterilized and covered in the sort of mushroom roots called mycelium. And you can just keep ordering that more or less week by week. You can get on a sort of commercial a commercial account or a commercial schedule with some of these spawn growers, but we're trying to figure out if maybe we can do the spawn ourselves, which is just requires a bit more sterilizing equipment from us and a little bit more expertise, which we're still working out. But anyway, so we're doing that. In the meantime, while we're working that stuff out, the cultures we've ordered to get that stuff going are not yet here. The spawn that we ordered to like tide us over in the meantime is not yet here. And so it's just, we're sort of stalling a little bit, which is a little frustrating because this is such a long-term projection grow. Like in a month, we want to be able to sell to markets, but right now it's a little unclear if we're going to have a consistent flow at that point because we've got 3 loads in. We'll be able to load some stuff next week, but after that, we better hope that some other stuff has come. So that's frustrating and a little daunting, I think, because we're talking about reaching out to markets, and it's like we've done that a little bit, but it's hard to fully commit. So it's a weird thing where we have to balance being future looking and being beholden to like having ordered stuff in the past. I don't know. So we're a little stuck right now with that. But then the big thing, Parker, you ready for the bomb to drop?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not that huge a bomb. So we went into the shed, listening to the inauguration. That was fun. We caught Garth Brooks right as I got there.
It was Gene Glory.
Yes. What did they call him? Musical dynamo or something like that.
He was really loving the opportunity to shake every person's hand afterwards. Like he was really overdoing it, I thought.
Was he wearing like single-use gloves and swapping them out every time?
No. No, but he talked to everybody on his run off stage.
I saw somebody comment that they think his hair is plugged, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's absolutely plugged."
Oh man, let's put a picture up on Steve and Lynda make a podcast.com. Oh, Garth. Hope you're doing okay, bud. Girth. That's not fair, okay?
Drop the bomb.
Drop the goat over that one. Okay, yeah, we'll drop the bomb. Sorry, focus, Brendan, focus. Yeah, so when we entered the shed, I was just in the middle of saying, God, I'm so fucking excited because it's going well. Because some of these things some of the bags that we have are populating really, really well, and we could maybe even fruit next friggin' week on some of them, which is faster than I anticipated. That's about like as fast as it possibly could go. And then
Wait. Was any bit of that excitement because of my morning texts?
Like 6%.
It was residual.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel jacked every morning, basically, Dan. Thank you for that.
Okay.
And it was then that we looked at the next couple of bags, and our bags of shiitakes had some blue mold on them. And so I said, okay, that's not great. Move those. We won't be able to salvage those, but it's a learning experiment, or it's a learning moment. Like we're experimenting with whether we can not sterilize the stuff that we're using because it's pelleted, which means it's sort of already sterilized. So it's a minor setback, but then we went over to the buckets, and those smelled bad.
Oh no.
Like, what did they smell like?
Parker?
It's like, I mean, it is just like a yeasty, soury. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Swedish.
Fish.
Like a little, like bad fruit.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I've had experience with on a smaller scale. So it's a little tricky. We've used straw. I've used straw in buckets before, and it goes really, really well. These were soy hull pellets and wood pellets that are hydrated and then loaded with the spawn. So it's a lot tighter packed, and I had this mindset that we want to pack it as tight as essentially like a log, because we want to mimic basically what it's gonna grow on in nature. But I think we probably packed it too tight, which just allows for anaerobic growth in the middle of the bucket. And so we might have to toss the first 2 batches of buckets and half the bags that we had the first time.
Guys, that hurts.
Let's just have a moment of silence.
We could always eat the
Silence. Okay, go ahead.
Now, on the bright side of things...
No, hold on. Go ahead, Parker. I'm sorry. No, man. He
Ship
said moment of
has
silence, man. You were
sailed.
talking, so
I think Parker was looking to eat the
substrate.
strange.
Yes, exactly.
fungus.
Thank you, Ian.
I
My
guess.
one friend on the
Little fruity.
podcast.
All right, listen, Parker. Don't make me feel like a monster.
No, you're
Brendan
right,
said
Dan.
moment of
I'm
silence, and you
friends with
started
Brendan,
flapping
too.
those meat flaps.
Meat flaps. I'd never. You brute.
All right. So, now you say 2 batches of buckets. How many buckets are we talking?
So we're starting small, and so that was 8 buckets. Yeah, which is it's a good amount to have lost. In retrospect, maybe we would have gone with 2 buckets a week instead of the 5 and 3 that we did. But at the same time, we I don't know. It's frustrating in the moment. It's sort of like deflating for sure. I don't know how did you feel about it, Parker?
Well, I was bummed out, but I also it's like what you're saying. It's the learning batch, so
Yeah.
it would have been amazing if everything was just like, oh, and it all works. But it also, in reality, wasn't super realistic that we just got it right the first time.
Right.
So,
We're taking risks.
Taking risks,
So, like,
yeah.
traditionally, the way this is done on a larger scale is that you would sterilize everything like crazy. We don't have the inputs or the equipment or the funding right now to do that. And so we're sort of just trying to, like, figure out if there's a way to... I mean, effectively, we're cutting corners. And how many corners can we cut is sort of the question. We're finding out. Finding out which corners not to cut, I guess.
exactly.
But yeah, I think after the fact, reflecting on things, we've got a game plan. Parker, we can touch base because this just happened yesterday, and I've been doing
You've been
a
crying.
professor's level of research on what the problem might be. I think we've got some ideas, so it's good to know. We did expect, and I think it's important to sort of. As much as you can make this rational idea that you're going to hit snags, that it's going to be a jagged line, it's not going to be a straightforward line. As much as you can turn that rational thought into like an actual understanding in the moment, I think you'll be able to just weather those setbacks.
Oh, you don't want to give yourself over to the caveman brain?
I guess it would be nice. Cavemen were probably dope at growing mushrooms.
Or finding, probably.
I would
Good
buy
call, good call.
finding.
I think we could argue that all we're doing is just like randomly putting things together in a shed, and then in a couple weeks hope that we find some.
We're just
mushrooms in there.
hunter-gathering in a shed. Makes sense.
May I ask a question?
No.
All right.
Parker, you're up. No, good.
Parker, you're up, you
Dan,
said.
please.
Parker.
Dan,
Dan,
just ask the
please.
question. Moment of silence, man. Come on.
What is... So I'm hearing, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm hearing there's a trade-off between trying to cut the corners to get to higher yield quicker or go for a small, I mean, I guess you could run these simultaneously, or go for smaller, sanitized, no corner cutting batches at which you'd be left with whatever that yield is, which might not be super fruitful, we'll say. Haha, you like that? What's the line there? Like how many corner cut batches need to sour in the buckets before you're like, okay, got to change that up?
Yeah.
Or is that now?
So I think that part of it is we're having the conversation of bags versus buckets. So it might be
Yeah.
like realistically, and the whole reason we wanted to do buckets was to be super green, not use a lot of single-use plastics. But like if it's just for like this first year while we're like at the shed and in Brennan's basement or in the like back of Brennan's parents' yard, if it's like bags for this year, not ideal, but like it's okay. But I think I know what you mean.
Right.
Like if we wanted to continue with the buckets, would we switch to a different substrate, like the straw, pasteurized straw? Is that what you're asking, Dan?
Yeah.
And how long would it take for us to be stubborn and be like, it's gonna work before we switch
Right.
over?
Yeah.
Forever.
Yes, that's the answer I was hoping
I don't want to.
for.
I just don't. So the other thing, it's like it sounds easy just to use like a different substrate, but from what Brendan was describing, you pretty much, and it's almost February, you have to sit outside with like this giant bucket of cold water and pretty much just cold cook straw, and it just sounds not fun. And your shoes are gonna get wet, and my socks are gonna get wet, and then I'm gonna have wet socks inside, Dan, and you want me coming over to your house with wet socks, so I don't know. I feel like the answer is right there.
Thank you.
With the with the bags, you know that new like compostable plastic stuff they got coming out now, that fancy shit? Can you guys use that? Do they make anything like out of that stuff?
Tremendous question, Ian.
Oh.
Tremendous question.
Thank you, Brendan. I try.
Yeah.
Dan,
so
your
strong.
question was fun too. We love you. So, that was a weird call out by Brendan.
I'm fuming.
We're being mean to Dan. Dan, you are the absolute rubber cement to our middle school poster board project.
No, look, I cut Parker off during a moment of silence, so I deserve what I get.
He was just enforcing the rules that I set forth. It's just, someone just put the microphone to their butt and fart?
I gave Dan a raspberry. Dan, you
So
are the
middle
podcast.
school,
Let's get
That
back-
is very
Let's
true.
get back to Ian's entirely mediocre question.
All right. Well, look, we can just skip it then. It's not a big deal. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, it is a good question. So, yes, part of our goals are to do things on a small scale, do things with little inputs, and then grow things as we go so that we're not like risking all of this at first without really the feedback and the faith that, or like the evidence that this will go well. We're trying to do that slowly, which is a thing that Dan, I know, as we've talked about this stuff, that's something you've mentioned a number of times, just like, how small can you start and then just pull that thread until you get a rope, until the rope turns into a giant cable and all of that stuff. Metaphors. Anyway, so we're trying to do that. We're also trying to limit the amount of plastics. So we've done a lot of research into what is the appropriate way to do that. It seems like reusable plastic is the only way, or reusable materials of any sort is the only way to limit those things, because the kind of single-use plastic that is compostable, quote unquote, the technology isn't there yet for those to apply to mushroom growing. So
Gotcha.
in part because the sort of biodegradable, so there's a difference between compostable and degradable, and the ones that are degradable, there's evidence that they just break up into smaller microplastics, which is not really solving the problem much at all.
Yeah.
And that material is not as durable as the other materials that you'd use for plastic or for bags. But then the compostable stuff, which takes it a step further, and it's actually like breaking down into its constituent parts, which would be great, because then that's stuff that basically is natural again, and not toxic. But the issue with that is that mushrooms are basically the things that do that, that like break things down, bacteria, molds, fungus. And so the mushrooms would essentially just eat through that stuff. And so nothing, and certainly there's the possibility for someone to develop this stuff, but it's just not, it doesn't exist yet, where it would be durable enough and like hold its structure until the exact right time when you want the mushrooms to eat through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's exactly the wrong material for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys need to hire a chemist.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
my God.
man. Someone's got to figure out why our buckets smell like doo-doo. So, hey, out there in Slindian world, you know anybody?
Slindian world, the dystopia that we don't live in, but just project.
But we do. This podcast makes its way through the
Dimensional
portal.
rift.
All in all, those are frustrating things, but things we expected. I think it's important when you're doing this kind of stuff to expect that. And in a sense, like you could argue that if your goal was to fail, or like if you make it a goal to sort of push the boundaries enough to fail, that might be a healthy way to start things. Obviously not with the intent, and I know that's a weird sounding thing, but a pretty well-worn little like mind hack that if you push things to the point where you expect things aren't going to be perfect, then you're figuring out exactly where the edges of whatever craft or whatever project you're working on or whatever your own capabilities are. And I think that's a healthy thing. So when I was on the ride home, I started thinking about, man, it smelled like old peaches. That's such a bummer. And then I was just like, you know what? This is what it's all about, baby. Right?
Right.
Sail upward.
Beautiful.
I love that, man. I'm gonna take that to heart. Internalize it.
Don't.
No, it's too late. It's already in there.
So Parker, tell us about your week.
Well, where do I start? Well, we had some mushroom troubles.
Go through all the
So
details.
yesterday we
Exactly.
were listening to the inauguration. We went back to the shed. Garth Brooks, I don't know if you've heard of him, but big guy on handshakes. No, besides all the, moving forward, even like the mushroom stuff's kind of a bummer, but I think that some of the like, I don't know, productive stuff that we're still able to do, we're still like, finishing up the touches on the shed. Like we got some more shelving, just like figuring out like if there's anything wrong with the shed, like that might be just like I don't know, like stagnant or dormant contamination in there. Like so we're gonna like paint the floor in there with like an anti-mildew paint. Pretty much it's like just like drywall paint, which is really weird, but it pretty much just like fills crevasses. So and then we're gonna reach out to another local farmer in the area just to, I don't know if it's like what it's going to be, and maybe they're totally not even going to be happy to talk to us. But I think like, because if they're anything like all the other mushroom farmers that, I don't know, heard of, met, or whatever, they'll probably be a pretty chill person and be like, yeah, like, I don't know, have some sort of advice, or just like maybe we can get together and see their facility, explain to them some growing pains that we're having and things like that. So always moving forward, even when you just want to quit and you hate everything and you're sad and I'm alone in my basement. And
Okay,
sorry. And then on the graphics end, it's been a quieter week, just because like I don't know what you've noticed, Dan. I guess like your social is like more of like a steady posting kind of thing, but like we try to like shoot for only like 2 posts a week or something, and like they were trying to think like, is there any like, I don't know, negative views to like post around like some political stress, so like they kind of held off since like a couple Wednesdays ago, all that scary stuff. So I think we're like just now getting into the swing of stuff. So as of like, I guess Monday, because I was MLK, we posted then, gonna post another thing tomorrow, and then just working on some internal stuff for them. So graphics is like it's still going, so that's good. I still need to finish that fucking mural. It's just so fucking cold and I don't want to go out there again. But I need to do that because I feel like they're gonna open in like March, and it's weird that March is like close already. So but yeah, that's about it.
You just induced a little bit of panic saying how close March was.
Oh yeah,
And I did look to see that January is almost over.
isn't that weird? This is a quick month. It's like
an eventful month for sure.
Oh yeah, that's for true.
What do you have left on the mural? Are you starting from zero on this one, or do you have a little bit done?
No, it's literally just like a top section. It's like a like 4 foot by 10 foot section that just like hasn't been started, but it's all traced out and everything. It's just like
cool.
have to get up on a ladder and it's cold and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How many days of painting will that be?
Just one. But just like I'm like waiting for
wow.
one that's like, I don't know, 50 degrees or higher. So because also like paint acts really weird with different temperatures, even latex paint I found out. I know it's like not supposed to, but it does. And anybody out there, Slindians, if you know any secrets about latex paint that I don't know, or 2, if you're calling bullshit, you're just a liar. So don't reach out then if you're gonna say that latex paint doesn't act differently in the cold, because I don't want to hear it. But
You're gonna get
Calling you out on.
You get 50
Like
people reach out and tell you how to treat your paint in the cold weather.
and then immediately.
You do need a chemist.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh yeah, so yeah, chemist. There you go. That's the other thing. I still want to make business cards. That's what I'll end on. I still need to do that. But I just like don't. I just don't have that. I don't have the drive.
Why are you afraid to
Winter
make them?
doldrums.
Because personal branding's the hardest job you could ever do. It's like, how do I describe myself in a true way and not lean into you want something that's ageless that you can pretty much use these business cards. Like, yeah, it's okay if it like evolves, but I'd want to like be able to pick up the same business card 10 years from now and be like, oh, here you go, hand it out at a party. And it's just really hard because like, how do you put Parker in a business card or like what I'm doing? And like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Especially for something that is so visual. Like, it's a different thing if a mushroom company has a shitty logo.
It's got to be, yeah, exactly.
Then if,
You're like, it's literally the
yeah.
thing you're selling is the business card.
Right.
So there's like
Do you have any ideas?
yeah, I have a couple. I just like haven't done them yet. I don't know. Just it's it just gets dark so early and I'm just not. I just don't want to. I'm just fucking over it.
Don't blow it.
I'm not gonna blow it, Dan. I'm not that sad.
It is interesting how capable some people are of distilling their own personality into, I don't know, either a business card or a visual identity. I mean, we've talked a little bit about this when we were talking about how you consult people to create their logos. And like, it's one thing that you're on the outside of observing that stuff, and they're just doing their best to communicate to you who they are. But you're probably also, like, the things they're not explicitly saying, you're probably also picking up. And those are probably things that they're just not able to see in themselves. But then there are some people who are just able to do that really, really well. And it's confusing to me.
Yeah.
Do any of your strategies for like figuring out what a client who is not you wants, like do those apply to you at all, or are they just all completely invalidated by the fact that like I don't know,
how's
you?
Wait, what do you mean? I'm sorry.
Like I think in one of the first episodes you kind of walked through your process for like figuring out, like helping a client to figure out their visual identity. And I was just wondering if like any of the strategies that you would use for another client, like
like do that on myself.
Is that even possible, or is it like?
I just feel like I'd see.
Would you just?
You get like caught. I get caught in like head games, being like, "Oh, that's not true. Like that's bullshit, Parker. Don't say that. Don't write that down. That kind of stuff. You know?
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's fair.
I don't know. Dan, did you have?
Can we ever really know ourselves?
Oh my god, this was a real.
Yeah. What do you mean? What?
Yay.
I do want to stress that
Don't stress,
we have
man.
some mushrooms growing.
We've what?
Some of the mushrooms are doing fine.
Yeah.
No, I think we've framed this. I have maybe unfairly framed this as like a, what are your failures this week? But I think even that it's partly like a conscious choice and partly an overly self-deprecating choice. It's like, on one level, you don't want to overemphasize the failures. On another level, you do want to lean into the failures because those are the places where you can make progress or where you can learn. Yeah.
Amp up those failures, man. We need a good underdog story arc.
So since it's 3:30 in the afternoon and Ian has to go to sleep.
Yeah, sorry guys. It's just these days have been so long. Short? I don't know.
You wouldn't know because you're sleeping the whole time. You know what I'm saying?
He wakes up just for the podcast.
It's hibernation period.
Yeah, Parker said it. It's true. It's time to hibernate.
I just want to go to sleep.
Are there any things that you want to adjust moving forward? Dan, it sounds actually like there aren't many failures in your book, but are there things that you need to change and that it would be good to lean into for next week or weeks ensuing?
Nope, everything's perfect here. Thank you. That's a really, really hard question. I'm not here
to ask the easy fogging questions,
okay, dog. Well, I don't think there's anything drastic. I'm just in hype mode, so I'm trying to just ride that. Probably just finish January strong. I'm trying to get ahead on all fronts: on client posting, on self-posting, on self projects. And while I'm feeling the hype train, I'm just trying to ride it. So probably not too many changes for the next 2 weeks here, hopefully. That's all I got.
That's real.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Ian?
Oh, I don't know, man. Same old.
Turn
it on. Yeah, that's always the goal. No, I do want to get to the point where I can like trade along with the algorithm because the more I do this, the more I realize like I just need more experience, and I think that'll be a good way to get it. So let the algorithm do its thing, then I'll do my thing and try and figure out like if either of us do well, what the differences are, what the meaningful differences are.
Oh, do you mean manually?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So we'll see. See how that goes. Popcorn Parker.
changes moving forward.
I don't know. I'd be really happy. I'd be chuffed just to go out to the shed one morning, have just all the mushrooms in there. And so in order to do that, I think I just have to change my ways personally. I think I've been lying to myself, lying to you guys, and just keep it pretty vague.
Mushrooms can pick up on the bad vibes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what it is. So I think I'm the only contamination in that shed, really. So that's...
Okay. We gotta get you in a better spot here, Parker.
No, I think I want to.
This winter's wreaking havoc.
I want to start getting up like an hour earlier because I feel like I just like.
Whoa! Don't do anything rash now.
Well, I don't know. Sleep's boring.
Amen.
Sleep is the best. How
Sleep
dare you?
is great, but like
libel, absolute libel.
Okay, but Brendan, that like hour of sleep in between the alarms going off is wasted sleep.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
You got Bear downstairs.
Dan and I talked about
join
this a
you
little while
in
ago.
that quest?
Yeah.
Because I'm struggling. I've been wasting a lot of time doing that.
I will send you a text
all right,
when I get up.
Let's all four of us and all of you Slindians out there in Slindiana. Please, we'll post a petition. Sign on, everybody. Let's start getting up at 6:30. That's when the real things
Did
get
we say
happening.
6:45?
I want 6:30.
Yeah, we could do 6:45.
Ian's like, wow,
Ian,
why so
meanwhile,
late?
gets up at 3:30.
Ian's like, I guess like.
Ian, real quick, for anybody that doesn't know, hit him with the reality. When do you actually get up on average?
Oh, I don't know, man. Just whenever the mood strikes me.
Guys, it's 4. It's 4 o'clock a.m.
Jesus.
Why do you have to air my dirty laundry like that, Dan?
Is it actually?
That is the cleanest dirty laundry in the world.
Is it 4 a.m., Ian?
Yeah, give or take.
That's so pretty.
Give or take. Sometimes it's earlier.
All right. But the other side of that is I go to bed at like 8 o'clock. So like, let's not amp this up too much.
Okay.
Wait, no, 3 o'clock. What time is it now? 3:30, guys. I go to bed at 3:30, and we're already past time.
Brendan, any changes? Yes, no?
Yeah. Yep.
All right, take us home.
Yeah, no, I think I want to, we got to pin down a couple of things. They're very specific things, but as far as mindset stuff, I think getting a regular schedule will be a good idea. We're trying to do that, but things are a little weird. And then I think, let's see. I think also that getting ourselves some partners in crime will be a useful thing. So right now, like Parker talking about reaching out to one of these farms, I think will be a really interesting part of the journey. Like, first of all, things are not a competition. And I think that's something that things that people might need to rethink when they're starting small businesses. So I think putting ourselves in the hands of others and sort of asking for help will be, I think, a pretty useful mindset change, as well as just a practical change too. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. For Steve and Lynda, I've been Brendan.
I have been Dan.
I still am Ian.
And I'm still Ian.
We don't know what we're doing.
Who's playing this out?
Whoa, hold on. We don't know what we're doing for music, so I think.
Oh, let's get Rise Thing back. That was delightful.
All right.
Heat. That was heat.
Eat.
Hot.
T-shirt drops.
Bye. Bye.